labored mightily this last week to emphasize Joe Biden's vast reservoir of empathy, qualities attested to by Democrats and Republicans, celebrities and ordinary citizens alike. Perhaps no one testimony was more moving, however, than that offered by 13-year-old Braden Harrington, a stutterer whom Biden, who also battles that affliction, has taken the time to help.
It was really amazing to hear that someone like me became vice president.
Roughly 3 million Americans battle stutters, and whether or not you're going to vote for Joe Biden, it's empirically a positive thing that his rise has given so many of our fellow Americans confidence and inspiration, as opposed to how President Trump talks about the neurological problem, if he can use it to attack Joe Biden.
Biden is angry. Everything's anger. Geez. And that's what happens when you can't get the words out.
That callousness, that cruelty, even, as characterized by the president's sister in secret recordings, is an affliction not uncommon in the Trump team. Here's the president's daughter-in-law.
Every time he comes on stage or they turn to him, I'm like, Joe, can you get it out? Let's get the words out, Joe. You kind of feel bad for him.
This recalls in many ways when candidate Trump mocked journalist Serge Kovaleski, who has a challenge of his own.
Now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember.
The president's lack of decency, his lack of humanity, seems to inspire our fellow Americans who battle that affliction, the propensity toward cruelty. This week, the ranks of Republican congressional nominees who are bigots and theorists grew with the victory in Florida in the district that contains Mar-a-Lago of Laura Loomer. Loomer, a self-described Islamophobe, is so noxious she's been banned by Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter after she tweeted in 2018 that, quote, someone needs to create a non-Islamic form of Uber or Lyft because I never want to support another Islamic immigrant driver, unquote. Uber and Lyft banned her. After the Parkland massacre at Stoneman Douglas High School, Loomer accused students who were speaking out against gun violence of, quote, reading a screen or notes someone else wrote for them. In July 2017, Loomer actually celebrated the news that more than 2,000 migrants had died crossing the Mediterranean, saying, quote, good, here's to 2,000 more. Now, you might think anyone, not to mention the President of the United States of America, would condemn someone like this. Instead, President Trump tweeted, great going, Laura. You have a great chance against the Pelosi puppet. Now, why would the president support an open bigot and conspiracy theorist? Perhaps for the same reason that this week he expressed support for those who subscribe to the deranged beliefs of the QAnon conspiracy theory that a cabal of Satan-worshipping, cannibalistic pedophiles run the government.
I don't know much about the movement other than I understand they like me very much, which I appreciate.
This isn't a joke. Those inspired by this QAnon nonsense have actually killed people, kidnapped people. They've been arrested on their ways to commit other acts of mayhem. The FBI considers QAnon a potential domestic terror threat. So why would the president express support for Loomer or for adherents of QAnon while mocking those who have disabilities? Well, one theory is that the president's view of the world is entirely through this lens of whether or not you support him. Hence his reluctance to condemn people who support him and who subscribe to heinous beliefs. There's a long list of them. And his apparent lack of empathy for people who oppose him, no matter what challenges they may face, be they disabilities, or a stutter, or the loss of a loved one in combat, or whatever. Now, empathy and decency are, of course, not the only measures by which one makes a decision about an election. There is policy and acuity, feelings of safety and security, a host of other factors. But it is pretty clear there's a profound empathy and decency gap between President Trump and Joe Biden. And what's important to keep in